welcome to another edition of Coffee with the Curator. Today we're going to talk about a heavy subject. Bricks! Yes, bricks. The building blocks of Bradford. Stay tuned. You can't walk down any street in Bradford without seeing a red brick building. And although oil may have made many millionaires in Bradford, it's bricks that a lot of people see today. Bricks and brick making were one of the early important industries in the early 20th century in Bradford. In a way, it was because of the quality of the shale and clay found in this area, and perhaps most importantly, because of the workforce, mostly Italian immigrants. And of course, close proximity to nationwide rail lines didn't hurt either. Bricks are heavy, and the best way to ship them was by rail. The Bradford Landmark Society has quite a collection of bricks. Dozens of them, in fact, from all over the place. There's an interesting story on how we got so many of them. Years ago, I put 3 bricks in the window and put a little sign in there saying if anybody knew of any other bricks to please contact us. Well, it was like kittens in a basket at the door. Every time we came in, there would be more and more bricks leaning up against the door that people had found and wanted us to have. So now we have quite a collection, and please, don't bring us any more bricks. As I said, bricks are heavy. What does the average brick weigh? Today, about 4.2 pounds. And if you were a brick salesman back in, say, 1910, you certainly didn't want to carry around 10 or 12 of your company's bricks to show prospective customers. So they came up with this idea, little sample bricks. We have several of them at the Landmark. These are aluminum shale, the pearl clay products, and the National Brick Tile Company of Bradford, Pennsylvania. National Bricks was owned by Lewis Emery. Bradford brick salesmen didn't invent this idea, though. These little sample bricks can be found all over the United States from almost every brick company. As you can see, it measures about 3.5 inches. Weight is maybe 1/4 pound, if that. And you could pack a lot of these into your salesman bag and take it around for your customers. There were many brick plants in the Lewis Run area, including National Brick Company, Tuna Valley Press Brick, Pearl Clay Products Company, Alumina Shale Brick Company, the Bradford Fireproofing Company, Binghamton Paving Company, Foster Paving Brick, Youngsville Brick Company, Hanley Brick, and Pennart Brick. This is a photograph of the alumina shale plant out in Lewis Run. One of the first successful brick plants in the Lewis Run area was this one, built by P.B. Broughton in 1881. He was a successful brick manufacturer, and by 1893, over 16,000 to 18,000 pressed bricks per day were being manufactured at this plant. But in 1909, due to competing brick factories, labor problems, and financial difficulties, Broughton was bankrupt. The brickworks were foreclosed and sold at a sheriff's sale to Aluminum Shale Company of Lewis Run for $31,000. Broughton left Bradford, moved to Minnesota, and died there in 1920. He was 78 years old. Here's a good example of why it's necessary to pave the streets of Bradford. This photograph was taken about 1880. It's near the corner of Congress Street in Maine, and yeah, that's nothing but mud. This is a photograph of the St. James Hotel, which was built in 1879 at the head of Main Street, right across from the public square. You can't tell in this photograph, but these streets are made of cobblestone, also called Medina Stone. In 1883, Main Street was paved with brick, and cobblestones became history. And if you're wondering where all those cobblestones went, they're here at the Pearl Street Park. That's what they look like up close. In 1909, the city celebrated its Old Home Week, and there were hundreds of parade floats and marching bands. This one was from Bradford Press Brick, which would later become Hanley Brick. As you can see, it was the brick that made Bradford famous. The nicest brick made almost good enough to eat. This photograph is taken in front of the old YMCA on Boylston Street. As you can see, it's going down a brick street as well. Originally, the Bradford Pressed Brick Company owned just one press for making dry pressed brick and 2 old-fashioned kilns. But William Hanley modernized the entire brick manufacturing system. He had patents in this regard, and by the 1930s, Hanley Brick was the second largest producer of face brick in the United States. This is probably his most famous building, City Hall on the corner of Kennedy and Boylston Street. This is all constructed of Hanley's Bradford red bricks. Here's a photograph from the inside of the Hanley Brick Company. Those were all bricks in the foreground of the picture, ready to be shipped. And finally, here is the Hanley Company brick plant itself. This was taken in October of 1954. Thank you for enjoying another edition of Coffee with the Curator, and I hope you enjoyed our look at bricks of Bradford. And you know, I was thinking as I drove here this morning across brick streets that L. Frank Baum is supposedly from Bradford. No, never was. Anyway, wouldn't it be fun if we painted one of the streets that's brick yellow in honor of the Wizard of Oz and the Yellow Brick Road? We have bricks. We have the theory that Baum was here. Might be interesting. Just saying. See you later.